If you are a purpose-driven, heart-centered entrepreneur, do you know the path of least resistance for letting the world know your message and hear about your services? How can you create the most impact and spend the least money to acquire clients? The answer is deceptively simple. You must speak. Speak on any stages, speak to inform and to inspire, and find a way to monetize your speaking. That's why today we'll talk about how to make 10K from speaking on any stage. Grow your wealth, live on your terms. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the Conversations with Experts, the show that connects you with experts in different areas of life. Our intention is to help you be your best self and create your best life. I'm Millen Livis, the host of the show and international holistic financial independence mentor. If you love the idea of financial independence and freedom of choice, if you want to work because you want to, not because you have to, and not to worry about money in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, then you've got to plan your way to financial independence now. So I invite you today to start by downloading my wealth planner for free at this link. Here's the link for the wealth planner download, and work your way through it right away. And if you want to have real-time support, join my free Facebook group, Wealth Building for Powerful Women, and here's the link to the group as well. All right? Okay, now let's move on to our topic today, how to make 10K from speaking on any stage. And my super cool and powerful and powerhouse guest today is Erin Loman Jeck. Welcome, Erin.
Oh, hello.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I know that this is a second attempt that I'm trying to get you on this show because I really a big fan and I know how powerful you are and how many people you helped. So I really was very excited to finally get you on this show. And so before I will go over the questions, and I have a ton of them because obviously I want to share your wisdom and your experience with our followers, I would like to introduce you officially so people will know why you really on the stage here today. So Erin is CEO of the Transformational Speakers Agency, Executive Speaking Coach, TEDx Speaking Coach, and the creator of the Transformational Speakers Summit. Once Erin became the highly sought after business coach, she transitioned to opening her own speakers agency and is now the leading authority on assisting thriving, purpose-driven entrepreneurs on how to monetize their message, how to make an impact and influence change and inspire action in others. And that's what Erin does. So Erin, thank you so much for taking time to speak with me today. Very, very happy to have you with me. Welcome again.
Yes, my honor. I'm excited to be here.
So I know that you, like I said, you're really a powerhouse in many ways. And my first question is, how did you get to where you are right now? Like, why speaking and helping speakers became your career path?
Yeah, you never know. It's never a straight line, right? None of us go, this is what I want to do when I'm 5 years old. That was not the plan. My plan was to be a dolphin trainer, and I went and did that. And then after that, it was, you just need a psych degree to be able to teach dolphins. And so I was like, well, I love people. So I was like, this is the thing for me. So about 10 credits shy of my master's, I realized that a lot of people that came into therapy wanted answers, but didn't really want to change. They kept coming back and saying the same things over and over. And I'm so results driven. It was really hard. It was hard to hear them keep coming back with the same complaint over and over and over. And I'll never forget looking at my professors and go, this is all this is? And they're like, well, yeah, they'll just keep coming back. And I was like, no, I don't want that. I want to actually change the world. And so literally I was like, I'm done. I dropped out of my master's. I don't need this. And I became a coach because I knew as I was a volleyball coach, I was a softball coach, all the way up to college. I really, truly love to break down the things that were happening. And I can see the subtle nuances that other people couldn't see. And so it really became my mission. And so I got into being a business coach because I was really good at it. I speak really good. I was in nonprofits and the business people would come together and they were like, we want to change the world. And where's their ROI? And I was like, wait, you guys are saying the same things in different languages. And so that's why I became a business coach, because I knew the acumen that I had really could help change the world. And so I'll be honest, it got to be a really rough time. And what I noticed in my business is that when it's time for me to pivot, I get like everything dries up. And I'm looking around like, what just happened? Because I might not have heard the little whispers. So here I was driving to World's Greatest Speaking Training with Brendan Burchard, Bo Easton, and Roger Love, all three of my mentors. And I heard the big booming voice say, get in your lane. And in that moment, I had like my life flash before me of like all the times I've been on stages. I've been dancing since I was 2. All the times I used my voice to stand up for people who were disadvantaged. And it really became aware to me like, oh my gosh, I have been kind of doing this my whole life. And really sat with, why do I help speakers? It really came to 2 things. I've always wanted to change the world. And I know not just my voice and not just my message will do that. That if I help people like you, other heart-centered driven people who are changing the world that have such a big mission, if I can help those people, we really could change the world. And when I know you make people like us really good money, nonprofits and charities and causes are all funded because of our big servants' hearts. So that's literally why I became a speaking coach. It kind of fell in my lap and I was told that that's what I'm here for. And now I love it because I can work on the TEDx stage, get to play with a lot of fun ideas that I don't have to change the world with, but one of my clients is changing single-use plastics on the planet. And I help land her TED Talk and deliver it. And she has almost 1 million views. So you never know what you're getting into when you get on a call with a speaker, because they really do have a message they can create a movement with.
Love it, love it, love it. And you are the perfect person to inspire and help people create an impact with their message, with their experiences. And I also know that every speaker has to have a speech, or sometimes they call it signature speech, that will be really very engaging and would be inspirational and informational. So could you please tell us what are the most important elements in any signature speech that make it not only informational, but also transformational? So most important elements, if you could mention.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to go into a speech because it's a lot about delivery, because nonverbal communication is 50% of what the audience is taking in. So first and foremost, that's the most important thing to pay attention to. Our facial expressions, our hand gestures. People are saying right now we have Zoom fatigue, and it's actually not. What you're actually experiencing is your amygdala is kicking off the fight or flight chemicals if you can't see my hands. You don't know what I'm doing, and our brains have been conditioned to look at people's hands to know, are they going to hurt us? Are they safe? Those kinds of things. And so if we don't see people's hands, as you've seen mine many times, your brain just keeps going and this fight or flight. Is she going to hurt me? Is she going to hurt me? Is she going to hurt me? Even though we're through a screen, our brains don't understand that. So nonverbal communication is so much more than what we think it is. And so the first few minutes, it's not being nervous. Sometimes we hang on to papers to keep us, content, to kind of self-soothe ourselves, or hold on to the microphone with dear life. All of these things are perceived by the audience as not confident. So immediately your audience is like, is she really the person that she says she is in her bio? If not, I'm just going to take out my phone and start scrolling, right? Because it's not worth my time. So you have to really know that some of those things are so important. Also, vocal tonality is 30%. That's pitch, pace, tone, volume, melody. These things are so important because you actually become memorable when you use them interchangeably. We are all monotone and we're boring each other all the time. And so if you can use melody, and when I script out people's talks, I write it in tonality, because where else are you going to practice? You're not going to have that access. So we work on that. 13% is your storytelling. Storytelling is essential. We've been telling stories since the beginning of time. Don't eat the red berries. Mary ate the red berries and died. We've kept each other safe by telling stories. And so we can learn from other people's mistakes. So it also, A, it's a learning technique, but B, it's also a connection piece. We are all feeling so disconnected after the last year and a half that we've experienced. And so it's essential to tell your story so that the audience goes, oh, she gets me. She's been where I am. She knows the route to the top of the mountain. I want to work with her. Being as an audience member and acknowledged, you're just a crowd to them. And as a crowd, you don't make a difference. And so it really is thinking about those things are so important. The last thing is 5% of your words. Nobody really cares what you say. It's how you say it and how you make someone feel. And so all of these components are individually so important. And think about this. If you just mastered the nonverbal and the vocal tonality, that's 80%. And most people aren't focusing on those things. They're focusing on, what do I say in the script? And so we've gotten it backwards. And so it really is this important place where I say, I help people get high on their own supply of neurochemicals. So as you're on stage telling your story, you release your own oxytocin. And then when you get feedback from the audience, you get a dopamine hit. Now, the audience, when you tell your story so well, they're in their story going, oh man, I've been there. Oh, I know what that feels like. They're in their own story. They're releasing their own oxytocin. Now, what we know is oxytocin is the mommy baby bonding chemical. So you want your audience to like bond with you? This is important. And vocal tonality, let me hit one thing on that. Right now, you're hearing the sound waves coming out of your speakers with my voice. I am literally vibrating the air around you. So when it hits your body, your brain wants to make sense. What is this vibration I'm feeling? And your brain goes, wow, I'm really resonating with Erin because you're resonating with the sound of my voice. So your brain tells you you're already resonating with the speaker in front of the room, but also you're resonating because you hear their message and it connects with yours. Now, there's no doubt in their mind why you're the person that they want to work with, because you're resonating together. And so a lot of these subtle nuances people do not spend any time on, and that takes you from being a good speaker to a great speaker and really transforming audiences, because it's not just about me getting up here and telling you me, I. Let me tell you more about how you could do this too. It really is a two-way conversation with so many other things that people have no idea.
Yeah, so I love what you shared, because basically what you described are the keys to compelling communication. Did I get it right?
Yes.
That's these little elements that maybe not that little, they really make your presentation compelling. That's what makes your delivery memorable, impactful, engaging, exciting. And love it. So that's the key to compelling communication. Now, can we talk a little bit about the structuring of the speech? Because there are some, from what I learned, there are some techniques how to open your presentation, how to close your presentation, when to invite people maybe to go deeper into learning with you, learning modalities with you, things like that. Are there any structure that you could share with us today for the?
Yeah, the first and foremost, I mean, there's not a specific structure. Like there is, but to be honest, if you're deeply connecting with your audience, you're transforming them, you're telling them things, because I'll spend a 3-day event and none of it's scripted. I will be up on stage for 3 days, none of it scripted. So sometimes it does depend upon the structure, and sometimes it doesn't. Now, if it's a TED Talk, it really does depend upon the structure. There are times where that makes sense. So one of the first things I do, because I talked about nonverbal communication, you will always know if someone has worked with me if the first thing they do is ask a question. How many of you in here have a message you want to create a movement with? How many are actually doing that right now? So when I do that, let me just tell you a little secret. I always like to show it to you and then tell you why I did it. In that, what I did was I got the whole room to see that I have open body language, nothing to hide. I'm not hiding anything. So open body language. And it gives me a few minutes to calm my nerves. Underneath it all, that's to just calm my nerves, because it usually takes, a good 60 to 90 seconds to just settle in, right? So it takes that in. But what it also does is when you had everybody raise their hand and they all looked around, all of a sudden they're a tribe. They don't feel alone anymore. They might have walked into a room of 2,000, 10,000 people and they didn't know anybody. But now they feel like they're in the right place and other people have the same problems or aspirations that they have. And so now they all are bonded, and now they know you're the leader because you led them through it. This goes back to the programming of being in school. Raise your hand when you want to be called on. The teacher, focus on the teacher in front of the room. We're actually commanding that part of their memory by doing that. So that's one of the first things. Then I always say, go into a story. Explain to people, set the scene for why you are doing what you're doing, but also why you've created what you're offering. So that's one of the biggest things that I think people mistakenly, like I tell my story about dog walking, but then I'm selling cats. And it's like, wait, it doesn't make sense. And so you have to make sure what you're doing is taking them on that through line. And so you telling them the story and saying, one of the reasons I help speakers make a lot of money is because I remember coming off stage, picking up my stuff, everyone saying, it was so amazing, great job. Hey, will you come speak at the Rotary? Hey, will you come speak to my group? And I was like, okay, that was awesome. But behind it, I needed money for diapers for my son. And I picked up all my stuff, went outside, sat in my car, put my forehead on the steering wheel, and was like, what is wrong? What's happening? I didn't make any money. No one bought my course. And I'll never forget, because that was the moment I never wanted someone else with a movement inside of them to not make the money to sustain it. And that's really, truly why I created whatever it is you're selling. So I tell you my why of why I created it, because it's not just, did I have that experience? I did. But I also know there's a lot of other speakers who are beating their heads against the wall, who are freaking out, who are leaving rooms, not selling either, and feeling that same way. And when I share that for the audience to go, yeah, me too. But I also share it for them to see, wow, there is a reason why she created it. She gets it. And that's really important. And so you want to tell a story that kind of goes through why you're doing what you're doing. I did at the beginning. I told you I was a dolphin trainer, to therapist, to what I'm doing now and why. And then told you the why of why speakers, why I help speakers. And then you go, I get her. I like her. And so it's that kind of thing inside your storytelling. Now, usually we all get about a 30-minute talk. If we're talking just a regular, networking group or things like that, most of them are about a 30-minute talk. So you want to take about 3 points. My thing is, give it all. Give some of your best stuff. A lot of coaches tell you, oh, share the what, but not the how. And I say no, because if you're not generous, no one's going to know how generous you are. So if you are just like, yeah, here are these 3 things, go out there. I'm actually telling you things today that you can go and implement now to actually change what you're doing in your business and speaking, right? That's the thing. If you fully give, you show all your value, people are going to go, wow, if this is what she does for free, imagine what's behind the paid offer. And let me be honest, even if you go over those same 3 things as the first 3 weeks, the first 3 parts of your course, whatever that is, it won't matter because they didn't take in all of it. They only took about 10% of it in. So reminding them, having them go through it, having them take notes, they're like, oh, I remember her talking about this. This was important. I haven't actually acted upon it. So doing that is really important. So just really sharing those 3 points, shifting back into, if you can offer, going into, so, the story about why I even created what I did and what the program is. And it's, and you can even ask permission. I'd love to be able to tell you a little bit more about working with me. Would that be okay? People are like, yeah, because you've served them already. If not, they're already doing this, right? And so it's really important to do that and to just give all you got in those moments, because you never know if you're going to get another chance. And so I think that's one of the biggest things, and just really being confident. Most speakers are really confident they're at their communication and speaking, and then they go into the offer and they're like, well, and then it's 5 things, and I can't remember what it was, and their energy changes, and that's because they're not confident about what they're offering. And so when that happens, you go, wait, you were so confident about your content, then you went into this offer, and I don't know who this woman is, because the woman that delivered that and they're like, nope, confused mind says no, and that's what happens a lot. But you don't realize it when you're speaking because you think you're doing a great job. And then the end is to land with something that challenges them to do a new idea. So in TEDx, I challenge them to adopt whatever that new idea is. So let's say dog walking is the new black. At the end, I'm going to challenge you to accept that dog walking is the new black, right? And challenge them to take action in it. So that's really, truly the things that you need to do. Now, if you can't sell, it's okay. Seed the crap out of it. That's what I feel like. You're just going to tell them all the ways. When I work one-on-one, when I'm hired to speak on stages, when I go into corporate clients, all these things, they're taking notes. Some of the best salespeople never even sell. I don't sell. I just tell people, here are all the ways you can work with me inside my talk. And then people are like, ooh, I really want that. I don't know if I'd want that, but I want this. And so I'm giving them a menu while I'm speaking, and they're literally taking notes, because maybe you're selling, I don't know, like I said, dog walking, but you have a cat walking course as well. If they're like, well, I'm not really quite sure on the dog walking, but if she had one on cat walking, and you say, but also in my cat walking academy, you can get that too. And they're like, oh, that's what I really needed. And so it's really important to seed the entire time so that people are like, okay, I really want to work with you. What's my next steps? And that's really what will happen when you take all of those things, the compelling communication and that structure, and really delivering value. People will pay you a lot of money.
Love it. And I have to tell you that you're such a great model. You're modeling basically everything that you teach. And your energy is like a fountain. I don't know where your generator is, nearby or some, like your energy is so, I can feel it, like my body is vibrating, right, from your voice. And that's exactly what you were describing before. So it's great to see that you're modeling it. Another question that I have for you today: what aspiring TEDx speakers must know if they want to do the TEDx talk?
Follow instructions. I know that sounds so simple, but as a on the TEDx screening committee, I was going through 500 applications every single year for a TEDx spot. There was 12 spots, 500 applications. And sometimes we would get one application would say, put the link to your video. They wouldn't. Then they would send in a whole other blank that says, find my other application, find the other application with just the video. I don't have time to then put them together. And to be honest, there's a committee of us. So I might have 100, someone has 100, someone else has 100, and then we're shifting them around as we go. And so I don't have time to put those two things together. And maybe one got one and I got the other, not looking at the names. And so that really, truly has been a problem. The other thing is, let's say ask for 2 to 3 sentences. I get 2 to 3 paragraphs. I don't have time for that. The reason we ask for the specific things we do in the application is to shortcut our time. We don't have a lot of it, and we're all volunteers. Most of the people that are working at a TEDx are all volunteers, guys. And that's what you got to think about. And as a screening committee, yes, was I perfect because I am also a speaker? Yeah, and a speaking coach. But guess what the other two screeners were? Mechanical engineer and and a structural engineer. And I was like, how are these two going to pick? But that's the beautiful thing. Because of TEDx, you can have so many different backgrounds. We all see things differently. That's what helped on the screening committee. So first and foremost, when you're going to apply, is really do your research. What is the theme? If they have a theme, looking at what are the specific things. Now, I have easy access of like blank TEDx applications because I help my clients apply. I have them fill that out. Then we work on the talk because a lot of times you need that script to also go along with your application, just a rough draft. But if it's really put together well, you'll stand out even more. And so I help my clients not only craft their application, craft their talk, then we start sending it out and it's copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, because you already have the open application. And so that's really truly the biggest parts of it. And what I would say is you really cannot self-promote. So even in your application, try not to be self-promotion. Don't talk about brands. I had a client, she talked about, she was the lead counsel for Starbucks back in the 80s. She was an openly gay African-American woman. And so she was talking about all the labels that she had, but she just wanted to say she went from working at Starbucks where everything was accepted about being openly gay in that time frame, but then she moved down to Dell in Texas where everything was very conservative. She was not allowed to say Starbucks or Dell because it seems promotional. Even though she doesn't work for these companies anymore, she was just trying to set the scene. So you really have to think about, can this be perceived as promotional? Because if it is, they won't, most of the TEDx organizers won't allow it. And then even when they submit it to the big TED to be on the platform, they won't accept it either if they think it's too promotional. So really thinking about that is important.
Thank you so much. You know what? You dropped so many golden nuggets today. I'm like, I hope we have people who want to share their message by speaking, which is one of the best ways to share a message. Listening us today and taking notes, because you literally gave so many great tips. And like you said, you're not holding anything back. You are right, open with your open heart and open mind, and just take it or leave it, right? Mm-hmm. And I also like how you very subtle. It was very subtle, but also I'm pretty sure it was very intentional that you were seeding all the services that people can receive when they work with you. And it was done very, very professionally and, like I said, very subtle. I love that. So thank you so much, Erin. People who want to connect with you, how they can find you. I have one link that maybe it's not the right link, but let us know how people can connect with you.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways. You can look on any social media platform, Erin Loman Jeck, you'll find that. But one of the things that I think is the most important is to give a lot of value. And so what I want you to know is how you actually can take each step before you leave your home to go speak and make money before you leave home. So I have the 10K from anystage.com. You can go, there's a little video that walks you through all the ways that you can do that. It also tells you and thinks about, okay, how do I get to sell a higher end package? Because guys, at 20 minutes, you cannot sell a $20,000 package. Let's be clear. So knowing your audience and knowing how long you're in front of them in comparison to how much you're going to offer, I have the compelling conversion matrix inside this training. I'll walk you through every single step of how to get more of the know, like, and trust to build up more of that time, so then you can offer higher end packages. Now, that's important because, like I said, if you're out on stage, you need to make money. I want to make sure, and what I do is I model and show you all the places I've done this, and some of them are the most places you would like never expect. Like I spoke at a Toastmasters. I was hired to come in to speak at a Toastmasters about TEDx. And I left, I think, at 13,000, but by the time I was done 3 months later, I think I got it up to 23,000. And it's just because as people heard about the things I could do, they started to file in and say, okay, I want that, I want that, I want that. And so it's really important. I make it very, very modest to 10K, because even if you have a $2,000 package, that's not hard to do. And you have to sell 5 in a room, right? But what I really do is I help 6- and 7-figure coaches close 30% of the room or more when speaking. That is the compelling communication. That's how you're delivering this. It's because if you're not closing 30%, it's 3 things. It's either your messaging, your delivery, or your offer. Something's off if you're not closing 30% or more. And so that's what I show you inside of the 10K from any stage little training. And it has a blueprint for you to follow so that you know each step of what's next before you even take the stage and after the stage as well.
I love how generous you are. And my guess is that in this 10K from any stage, you don't hold anything back, just like you didn't hold anything back today as well, right? So thank you so much. And everybody who is watching this, grab this opportunity. Erin is really, I would say, the icon in this transformational speakers field. And learning from her is a great opportunity for all of you. So highly encourage you to check this 10K from any stage website and see if you want to follow Erin's very, very in-depth guidance. That's how she does it. Like, she doesn't hold anything back. Thank you so much, Erin. Again, I'm so glad that we finally made it happen. And I want to thank everybody else who is watching us. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for paying attention to some very important skill, because compelling communication is the key in any success, whether it's a business success or personal success. We all have to master compelling communication. And Erin is one of those masters who are teaching this as well. So thank you for your time today. And I will see you next week, same day, same time. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. Take care. Bye now.